If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Les Brown's a motivational speaker. He made an analogy about this. He says, imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes? What are you going to do with what you have? I'm not talking about how much you have. Some of you are business majors, some of you are theologians, nurses, sociologists. Some of you have money, some of you have patience, some of you have kindness, some of you have love, some of you have the gift of long suffering. Whatever it is, whatever your gift is, what are you going to do with what you have? Because the chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that's what's going to define you.
You know, living with you, it hasn't been easy. People see me, but they think of you. Now with all this going on, this is gonna be worse than ever.
It don't have to be.
No, sure it does.
Why? You got a lot going on, kid.
Well, my last name? That's the reason I got a decent job. That's the reason why people deal with me in the first place. Now I start to get a little ahead. I start to get a little something for myself, and this happens. Now I'm asking you as a favor, not to go through with this, okay? This is only gonna end up bad for you, and it's gonna end up bad for me.
You think I'm hurting you?
Yeah, in a way you are.
That's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
I know that's not what you want to do, but that's just the way that it is. Don't you care what people think? Doesn't it bother you that people are making you out to be a joke, and that I'm gonna be included in that? Do you think that's right? Do you?
You ain't gonna believe this, but you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you. Every day was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
I want to discuss with you this afternoon why you're going to fail to have a great career. I'm an economist. I do dismal. End of the day, it's ready for dismal remarks. I only want to talk to those of you who want a great career. I know some of you have already decided you want a good career. You're going to fail too, because goodness, you're all cheery about failing. Canadian group, undoubtedly. Those trying to have good careers are going to fail because really good jobs are now disappearing. There are great jobs and great careers, and then there are the high workload, high stress, blood-sucking, soul-destroying kinds of jobs, and practically nothing in between. So the people looking for good jobs are going to fail. I want to talk about those looking for great jobs, great careers, and why you're going to fail. First reason is that no matter how many times people tell you, if you want a great career, you have to pursue your passion, you have to pursue your dreams, you have to pursue the greatest fascination in your life. You hear it again and again, and then you decide not to do it. It doesn't matter how many times you download Stephen Jay's Stanford commencement address, you still look at it and decide not to do it. I'm not quite sure why you decide not to do it. You're too lazy to do it, it's too hard, you're afraid if you look for your passion and don't find it, you'll feel like you're an idiot. So then you make excuses about why you're not going to look for your passion. And they are excuses, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go through a whole long list. Your creativity and thinking of excuses not to do what you really need to do if you want to have a great career. So for example, one of your great excuses is, well, great careers are really and truly, for most people, just a matter of luck. So I'm going to stand around, I'm going to try to be lucky, and if I'm lucky, I'll have a great career. If not, I'll have a good career. But a good career is an impossibility, so that's not going to work. Then your other excuse is, yes, there are special people who pursue their passions, but they are geniuses. They are Stephen Jay. I'm not a genius. When I was 5, I thought I was a genius, but my professors have beaten that idea out of my head long since. And now I know I am completely competent. Now you see, if this was 1950, being completely competent, that would have given you a great career. But guess what? This is almost 2012, and saying to the world, I am totally, completely competent, is damning yourself with the faintest of praise. And then, of course, another excuse. Well, I would do this, but, well, after all, I'm not weird. Everybody knows that people who pursue their passions are somewhat obsessive, a little strange. Okay, you know, a fine line between madness and genius. I'm not weird. I've read Stephen Jay's biography. Oh my goodness, I'm not that person. I am nice. I am normal. I'm a nice, normal person, and nice, normal people don't have passion. But I still want a great career. I'm not prepared to pursue my passion, so I know what I'm going to do, because I have a solution, I have a strategy. It's the one Mommy and Daddy told me about. Mommy and Daddy told me that if I worked hard, I'd have a good career. So, if you work hard and have a good career, if you work really, really, really hard, you'll have a great career. Doesn't that, mathematically make sense? Not. But you've managed to talk yourself into that. You know what? Here's a little secret. You want to work really, really, really hard? You know what? You'll succeed. The world will give you the opportunity to work really, 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 really hard. But are you so sure that that's going to give you a great career when all the evidence is to the contrary? So let's deal with those of you who are trying to find your passion. You actually understand that you really had better do it. Never mind the excuses. You're trying to find your passion. You found something you're interested in. I have an interest. You tell me. You say, I have an interest. I say, that's wonderful. I say, do you have a passion? I have an interest, you say. Your interest is compared to what? Well, I'm interested in this. And what about the rest of humanity's activities? I'm not interested in them. You've looked at them all, have you? No, not exactly. Passion is your greatest love. Passion is the thing that will help you create the highest expression of your talent. Passion, interest, it's not the same thing. Are you really going to go to your sweetie and say, marry me? You are interesting. Won't happen, and you will die alone. What you want is passion. It is beyond interest. You need 20 interests, and then one of them One of them might be grab you. One of them might engage you more than anything else. And then you may have found your greatest love in comparison to all the other things that interest you. Look at the worldview you've given yourself. You're a hero no matter what. And I, by suggesting ever so delicately that you might want a great career, must hate children. Don't hate children. Do you really think it's appropriate that you should actually take children and use them as a shield? You know what will happen someday? You ideal parent, you. The kid will come to you someday and say, I know what I want to be. I know what I'm going to do with my life. You were so happy. It's the conversation a parent wants to hear because your kid's good at math and you know you're going to like what comes next. Says your kid, I have decided I want to be a magician. I want to perform magic tricks on the stage. And what do you say? You say, that's risky, kid. Might fail, kid. Don't make a lot of money at that, kid. You know, I don't know, kid. You should think about that again, kid. You're so good at math, why don't you? And that kid interrupts you and says, but it is my dream. It is my dream to do this. And what are you going to say? You know what you're going to say? Look, kid, I had a dream once too, but I was afraid to pursue it. Or you're going to tell him this. I had a dream once, kid. But then you were born. Do you really want to use your family? Do you really ever want to look at your spouse and your kid and see your jailers? There was something you could have said to your kid when he or she said, I have a dream. You could have said, go for it, kid. Just like I did. But you won't be able to say that because you didn't. So you can't. Why? Will you seek refuge in human relationships as your excuse not to find and pursue your passion? You know why. In your heart of hearts, you know why, and I'm being deadly serious. You know why you would get all warm and fuzzy and wrap yourself up in human relationships. It is because you are. You know what you are. You were afraid to pursue your passion. You're afraid to look ridiculous. You're afraid to try. You're afraid you may fail. Great friend, great spouse, great parent, great career. Is that not a package? Is that not who you are? How can you be one without the other? But you are afraid. And that's why you are not going to have a great career. Unless, that most evocative of all English words, unless. But the unless word is also attached to that other most terrifying phrase. If only I had, if only I had, if you ever have that thought ricocheting in your brain, it will hurt a lot. So those are the many reasons why you're going to fail to have a great career. Unless